great show. He's very good at what he does, and I have a lot of respect for him.
Okay, so let me hop into this. What's up, Dr. Vibe? How you doing? Everybody, if you see Dr. Vibe in the chat, everybody go follow the Dr. Vibe show. Dr. Bob is a real smart brother and a good human being. I like the guy a lot, and he's very intelligent. And I think everyone should pay attention to what he's got going on. We got to shine the spotlight on the intelligent Black people out here that are really doing the good work. Don't just pay attention to the rappers and the celebrities. You know, a lot of these people are losers. Your true winners are your people in your community that are really having your back. Helping us to have stronger families and a stronger community. So Dr. Bob is in that category. So you might see the Dr. Bob show in this chat. If you see him, please go follow him. Okay. All right. So anyway.
All right. Dr. Boyce Watkins and his beautiful wife, Dr. Alicia Watkins, are supporters of the Dr. Vibe show, and I support them. And Dr. Boyce is a true entrepreneur. He built his platform, no outside money, because he believes when you take money from governments and corporations, they dictate the message. So based on that, you are watching the Dr. Vibe show and the Dr. Vibe's allies. And today we are chatting about a really good subject, ownership and freedom and the responsibilities that come with it. And bringing to the stage a gentleman who I co-host the Morning Vibe with Monday and Friday mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern time. And he's brought another ally in training. Ryan Knight, what's going on?
Yeah, good day, gentlemen. Good to see you.
Ryan.
You say hello.
What's going on? How you doing?
You said hello, but what's your name?
CHIS.
Say it. You don't spell it. All right. I know. Good to see everyone.
Christian is there. And Ryan, before we go any further, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to bring on the Instagram audience, going to catch a bit of this conversation. What is up? It's Dr. Vibe here, Dr. Vibe Allies. We have broadcasting a little bit live here on Instagram. We've got Black men from Canada, United States, and England live right now. And we're talking about ownership and freedom and the responsibilities that come with it. Hey, Max HT. Yes, Max. What is up? Icon3_3. We've got VU. Victor Unlimited from Tennessee. We've got Clive Henry all the way from Nottingham, England. Yes, Robin Hood land. 5 hours ahead. ACB Therapist on Instagram. What is up? And we also got Ryan Knight from
Are you sitting there?
Durham region. I don't know. Is it Ajax, Whitby? I don't know in Ontario. So we're talking about ownership and freedom. Ajax, Ontario. So Ryan, share a little bit about yourself quickly, and then let's get your take on ownership and freedom and the responsibilities that come with it from a Black lens.
And then come back.
A little bit about myself. For those that don't know, my name is Ryan Knight, one of the co-founders of the Afro-Caribbean Business Network. So we support entrepreneurs of African and Caribbean heritage with their businesses. I'm an entrepreneur myself. I do run a company called Detailing Nights. We provide mobile waterless car cleaning, so going to people's houses or their offices, cleaning their cars without water. And we run a youth entrepreneurship program. So when we talk about ownership, that is the mantra and the drum that I beat every single day, is even if you have a career, owning a business on the side, to me, is a great tool to use to build wealth. And if you're young, it's one of the best times to start a business, because typically they don't create paths for youth into entrepreneurship. It's usually something that people find on their own. So now I feel if somebody had shown me entrepreneurship. You said good evening?
Yes.
Good evening, Christian. All right.
So good, exactly. You're supposed to speak up. So if entrepreneurship was something that was introduced to me when I was younger, I feel I wouldn't have been drifting as much as I did in my 20s. So it's definitely something that I think everybody should have some piece of entrepreneurship as they're growing in, even if they're older.
Okay. anyone want to ask Ryan any questions? I can always jump into Clive or VU. This is the first time you're meeting Ryan. Anything you want to add on to what he said or ask him any questions, especially dealing with youth entrepreneurship?
Most definitely. Welcome, Ryan. Welcome to you and your son.
Yeah, appreciate that.
And I just wanted to ask, how long have you been on this mission to help younger people become entrepreneurs? And how did you get started in it?
Because I would say the full dive into entrepreneurship started for me in 2009 when I was working at a corporate job, thinking that, it was stable. I was growing with the company. They're sending me on trips, business trips to professional development and to build the business. And then 2 weeks before my wedding, getting laid off and realizing that it wasn't as safe as I thought it was. And now with that gut check, my father had always been planting that seed around, hey, if you want to control your destiny, you should start your own business. If you want to be rich, you should be an entrepreneur and start a business. So I used that time to say, okay, now is the time for me to, one, go back to school. I had been on a journey of completing this 3-year diploma at Sheridan College. And once I started the business, I suddenly got way more focused on school and was able to complete that diploma. So for me, entrepreneurship not only stopped me from drifting, but also allowed me to focus and get that diploma. And the way I saw it work for me, so I'll say I graduated 2012, that's where now I said, okay, I can use business to actually teach other youth that might be in the same situation I was, getting in trouble with the law in that last kind of couple of years of school. Also hearing from probation officers that, oh, you have more potential, than you shouldn't be sitting in front of me. Just things that youth typically don't have somebody tell them the potential they have. And so now we have a tool that we can give to somebody that I wish somebody gave to me to say, if somebody came into my high school class, and 2 things I wish happened. One, somebody sat down and said, today we are going to learn about entrepreneurship. By the end of the day, you are going to start a business, and wherever it goes, but at least you're going to experience it. And the second part is owning stocks. Just to say, somebody come into class and say, listen, today we're going to learn about the stock market, and you are going to own your first stock, even if it's a penny stock. Like those things I feel would have put me on a completely different trajectory. So that's why, and I would say I officially started in 2013 with the youth program, the youth entrepreneurship program. But yeah, that's what really drives me, is because I know it would have helped me earlier in life as well.
That's great. And one more question comes to mind, then I'll slide to the left and let Clive take over. Something I was thinking about was this. In your experience so far, what is the difference that you found between having the entrepreneurship and ownership conversation with younger people as opposed to older? What's been the reactions and the acceptance?
Yeah, the one thing with young people, when I talk to them, especially when I'm speaking to a group of youth in a class, and you'll ask them, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I notice, especially Black youth, will say, oh, I see myself getting a minimum wage job. And it made me realize our youth aren't dreaming anymore. Like something has happened where they stopped dreaming big dreams. And so I'll ask, like, minimum wage job, we can get that done by next week. I'm talking 5 years from now. Like, where do you unleash the limiters or unlock the limiters, and just whatever comes to mind, just let it flow. And so that dreaming aspect, I find a lot of youth don't feel they have the ability to start a business. The ones that do, I find right now, they have already started. If a person has the thought of starting a business and has the confidence, they will open a Shopify store, they will sell from their Instagram. So if they aren't already doing it, I'm finding that they typically don't believe that they can. They do get caught up in seeing other people start businesses. So before, it was because you're seeing like the Zuckerbergs and the Bill Gates and the Elon Musks. So you're only seeing the grandiose entrepreneur. So you don't feel like, oh, that's not me. And that's, I feel like, how I felt. Like, oh, I can't be a business owner because I'm not at that level. but there's so many people around us that are business owners that I didn't realize, the mechanics, the plumbers, the contractors, the roofers, that are all running their own business, making good money, providing for their families, and they're entrepreneurs. But nobody sits you down and explains, like, yeah, there's different levels to entrepreneurship that you can engage in. And then when I'm talking to older people, it's almost the same thing. If they have the confidence, they're already operating, and then we're working with them to get it done. But I find older people get locked into the employee mindset, where they get trapped by, they call it the golden shackles, where they have a good job, they have good benefits, so they don't want to rock the boat. And entrepreneurship is perceived as rocking the boat, because now you have no benefits usually to start. You have no safety, if you want to call it that. I'll tell you, my mom still wants me to get a government job, so I haven't completely convinced her that entrepreneurship is. And hey, entrepreneurship has taken, not that mom, my mom doesn't feel like entrepreneurship is safe. So it's breaking people out of that comfort zone. And a lot of times we're pushed into it. Like, it's, you get laid off like I did, or you're just burnt out. I was having a conversation, actually just, was it Tuesday, about a lady that quit her job because she's just burnt out and tired of it, and then starting her own business, doing exactly her same expertise that she was in a corporate environment, but that environment wasn't good for her mental health. So she had to exit and is now building up her own practice. But these are the things you almost wish it didn't come to something tragic for us to start a business. It should be an option that we always have there. And I would say even have it on the side at the same time, so that you can kind of build it slowly, but that becomes your safety net. If something doesn't work out with corporate, you now have something that you're building. And I remember I used to do like pizza delivery on the side when I was younger. And when I would get a regular job, I'd always know that I could fall back on the pizza delivery. Like, it just was always there. I knew I could make money. So that's where I feel a lot of the safety isn't there, because we're relying on this one corporation to now provide for your entire family. And if things change, we see the 2008, around 2009, that's where I lost my job because the economy changed on a whole, and everything goes out the window. Everything that you thought was sacred is just fluff. So, and then there's nothing to really fall back on.
I just want to jump in here because we have a number of people who have jumped in for a few moments on Instagram Live. So I just want to shout them out. Classic_C_gems. Thanks for dropping by. Lisa D. Tinsley, part of the Never Settle family. And Psycho Sankofa in Cypher. Thank you for being on Instagram, checking out. We're having Dr. Vibes allies here. We have Ryan Knight, Clive Henry, Victory Unlimited, and myself, Dr. Vibe. We're talking about ownership and freedom and responsibilities that come with it. And actually did have a comment on Instagram. Lawrence is chasing dreams, said, create your own foundation or forever live on the plantation.
Right.
And Dr. LJ Speaks. Thanks for dropping by. Simone Cordis, thank you for dropping by. One thing I found these days, I'm really focused, and I want Black people to focus as many as possible on ownership of their health, wealth, and relationships. And I think on many occasions, you're more able to achieve the goals in those areas when you have ownership of what you do full time than if you are in a corporate setting. So I'm going to slide also with VU to the side, because Clive, I want you to join in, because you've been self-employed since many a year. So when the ownership, freedom, and responsibilities subject is brought up, what does it make you think about and share with us?
Okay, well, first of all, Ryan, I want to congratulate you on your achievements. I've got a similar story to you. Are you from the Caribbean then, or are your parents from the Caribbean?
Yeah, my parents are Jamaican, and then I was born in Toronto.
Yes, so mine are Jamaican too. So my story is similar to yours. I worked for corporate, and then I got pushed out, and then that's when I became, self-employed, as an entrepreneur. So similar story, but it's forced out, but it's destiny, because now you've got the the freedom, the wisdom, and the experience. You know, and me
True,
too. But
true.
yeah, I mean, I I've been self-employed now for 10 years as a cab driver. So I'm a cab driver, and like being in Nottingham in England, I get to go all over the country, London, Birmingham, all the different airports. People come from all over the world. I meet people every single day. I learn a lot. People discuss everything. They tell me stories. So I'm gaining a lot of experience. I also have free time to learn other things. I wrote a book of my autobiography with my experiences in there as well. So,
So
you know, it frees up your time, and you can also do other things. Like if I wanted to get a corporate job, I could do that temporarily. That it gives you more options. You know, it
true.
is scary at first, it's the unknown, but it's a case of, okay, you know, like Dr. Vice said earlier, I've been on every Dr. Vibe show because I can, because I can wake up whenever I want. It's like 2:44 in the UK now, but I can wake up when I want and go to work because my job is people don't understand the job role of a cab driver, but a cab driver, just like the airport, just like the hospital, we are open for business every single day, every single hour. I could stop now and go to work. There is no time limit. That's why I chose that job, because you know people think sometimes when they don't see me working in the daytime, I might have a job at the airport in London. So I won't work. I will take the
True.
day off, and I'm going to make that money regardless. What I can make in one day, I would take 5 days. And so it's just people understanding how things work. It's education, you know, and it's also people explaining it in a way that, you know, black people understand, because a lot of people don't understand my job. They think it's like, oh yeah, you know, that's for you. They give you a tip and they go, that's for you. You're thinking it's all mine. I give them a percentage of the money what I gross, you know. It's like gross and net pay. A lot of people, when I worked in corporate, they didn't know what gross and net pay was, and I used to, because I
Right.
like to read, I like to know what things are. Gross is what
Yes.
the total what you gross, and the net is what you have to your taxes when you everything's taken out. So it's just,
Yes.
you know, people, they don't read. And I would love if I could have one wish for, you know, black people to be able to read more or get what in here to them. That is the one wish, because it's not that difficult, but people aren't showing. And it like breaks my heart, because there are a lot of people that do know, but they don't want to help. So, you know, that's why I've got to give you full respect, because you're helping other people. You're helping yourself, but you're also helping other people. And that's something that's rare. We have, you were saying gatekeepers. People, I made it, so I'm going to shut the door. It doesn't work like that. If you want to have a
Right. And
community
we
what
see that
works,
happen.
you have to open up the village. Everyone's going to help,
Yes.
you know. And this is what people don't understand. You know, it's like when you see stories like people like the Oprah Winfrey's, when she goes to Europe and they don't understand who she is and they discriminate. They don't care how much she's worth. They don't know who she is. You're a black woman. You're asking to see her handbag. They don't care about that. You know, in America, they would recognize her, but in Switzerland or wherever she was, they don't. I don't care who Oprah is. I don't even know who that lady is. So, this is what, you know, black people need to understand. Your wealth, how rich you are, does not matter. When the police stop you, they don't. They're looking at your color. You know, if you go to
Yes.
Harvard and they stop in the car, they're looking at your color. They're not bothered about what who you are. You know, it's the system is the system, and it's like getting that through to people. They think they made it. I'm corporate, so I'm important. It doesn't work
Right.
like that, you know. And it's like you said, you're similar to me. You thought you was in a secure job, and then things change overnight, and you're like, wow, the sky fell in. And I was in the same. And then it makes you realize, okay, this is how it really is. The mask has fallen off. Okay, then I can start, you know. And then once you start and you start getting the confidence and you build up, then things improve. And now I'm comfortable, you know. So it's a learning curve. But yeah,
I
it's
have a
got enough
question.
for
I
me
have a
to know
question
about
for
these
you.
things.
I have a question for each one of them.
Nice. Love
For each
that.
one of you, starting with VU. VU, what's your definition of freedom?
I think my definition of freedom would be to do what I want to do, to go where I want to go, to be who I was born to be without fear of repercussion.
Okay. Ryan.
Oh boy, freedom is tricky. I asked my business partner Chris Beth once, if the cage is big enough, would you still feel that you're free? Because now, when it's constrained, like chattel slavery, you can see the constraints. But if you get the illusion of freedom, but you're still bonded, and I'm thinking of like debt bondage. I'm thinking of just the rules that we agreed to as a society. Is that true freedom, or is it freedom that we're comfortable with? So and like, to answer the question, freedom, it's so tricky because it comes down to what are we okay with. And your life, you're never truly free because there's no chaos. Like, nobody would want chaos. So what does the opposite of chaos look like? And then that's what we agree to. And then when things kind of shift outside of that, are we truly free if we reprimand people for actually being themselves? If we're talking about economically, that's where I can definitively say having the resources to match my vision to my bank account. Like, if I think of things and I want to do it and my bank account says no, I have no freedom. If the bank account says yes, I feel like I have freedom.
Okay. Clive.
Okay, you got two types of freedom. You got individual freedom, and individual freedom for me would be what I've got now, the ability to do what I want, work when I want, and do the things that I want to do when I want. On a collective, freedom means to me, what I would really like is for all Black people to have the same opportunities, because we don't have the same opportunities. And depending on where you live, that can affect it. Depending on who you are, that can affect it. And societies in general, the systems that are in place, they hold us back. You know, we have got gatekeepers. We have got so many obstacles to overcome. There's so many difficulties. You know, just living in the hood, you might have the potential to be a great entrepreneur, but you live in the hood with people who are jealous of you and you get killed at a young age, you know. So
Yes.
there are people that understand how being Black affects the total, you know, chaos what comes with being a Black person. Just to be alive, you know, I'm where I live in Nottingham is considered the ghetto. You know, it's not ghetto like New York where I've visited before or whatever, but it is still the ghetto. And I know people that didn't get past 21 years old. They died through gang violence. So it is very difficult for, you know, Black males especially to aspire to their, you know, and a lot of them are very talented, but they hang out with, as they say in the West Indian community, bad company, and they go down the wrong path and get killed. You know, so it's a crazy world, but we, as a collective, we've got to do better. Our elders have got to do better to help to show the youngsters, you know, and just spell it out for them, because I think people turn their back on the youth. I try to, as my job as being a cab driver, I speak to the youth all the time, and you speak to them and they're really cool. Even when they've got a mean mug face, you have a one-to-one conversation with them and you can find out information from them, and they want to do these things, but they don't know how. They're not in the right circles. They haven't got the right educational background. They don't have the family help. They've got one parent. They've got no parent. It's so many difficult things for, you know, the youth. They're up against it, and then, you know, they no help. What do? You give up, like you said. What was their 5-year plan? They said minimum wage. That's not a plan. That's a given. You can get that without trying, you know.
Exactly.
So it's
All right.
crazy.
I'm gonna take it a little bit deeper here with each one of you in a second. Want to shout on Instagram, Charlene E. Day. Oh my gosh, haven't seen you since when I used to be on Clubhouse. But great to have you on the Instagram live here. Dr. Vibe here hosting Dr. Vibe Allies with Ryan Knight from Canada, Victory Unlimited from Tennessee, Memphis, Tennessee. Let me get that proper. Memphis, Tennessee, and Clive Henry from Nottingham, England, 5 hours ahead, where it's coming up to 3 o'clock in the morning. This may be our last conversation piece because I know the most valuable thing y'all have is time. I give you total freedom, each black man that's on my screen right now. What would be the first thing you do? VU. You have total freedom. What's the first thing you do?
To me, if I had total freedom, I would do everything that I'm doing now that I want to do in regards to, I just believe that, God's gift to us is our lives, and our gift back to him is the way we live our lives. And I just believe all the talents, the gifts, the propensities that I have, the things that I exploit on a daily basis, just because it's natural for me to do so, I would just do more of that. To me, freedom would be just like money is. Money is an amplifier. Money doesn't really change who a person is. It just makes you more of that. So I would just think I would amplify and live more fully out loud. I think that's what I would do.
Excellent. Ryan Knight, you have total freedom. What's the first thing you're going to do?
Yeah, my mind just goes to, I can't be free by myself. It's like, but then you start thinking of, is it the allegory of the cave? If you're free and then you're trying to explain to others how to get free, do they now attack you because they can't understand what freedom is? So, and my mind went to my mom. It's like, is my parents, are they free? Can I go and get them out of whatever? Like, I just want them to be happy. So if I have total freedom and that allows me to make sure that my parents are happy, I feel like the generation ahead of me is good. And then my family, it's like, okay, is everybody in my family free? Everybody in my family happy? That's good. And then how do you set up freedom for the next generations? Maybe at least 3 or 4 generations down the line to make sure that this is something that stays. So yeah, if that's financial freedom we're talking about, again, a generation ahead and the generations behind, I'd have to make sure that everybody can experience that. And it's not just Ryan by himself is free. And as best I can, extend that to the fuller community,
Clive Henry.
I think the first thing I would do is go to Africa and visit every country out there to get an understanding more of, to find out more of, of who we are as a people. I think there's 50 something countries there. I would visit all of them. And, what I would like to do if I had total freedom is teach, help. Because what they say, people are standing in the shade because man planted a tree a long time ago. So, what you do now is going to outlive you. So I want the people to be able to benefit from this. I'm not about hoarding wealth. When you are really, really rich and you're going to leave it. The Queen of England died last year and she left all her wealth. Now we've got King Charles. So we've got to start understanding that wealth is knowledge, and not worrying about these other things, because as a unity, we win. It takes a village to raise a child, they say. And like I said, there's so much information out there now, what you can see on the internet, what is being pushed forward by even white scientists and white explorers and everything, where they're telling you about Africa and where things started. People are just learning these things now. And, it's like, it's been a journey. I've been studying these things for a while, but every day you can find out something new every single day about Africa, melanated people. There's it's unlimited with the information. The first universities, Africa, the first everything, Africa, the first people, Africa. The material wealth what comes from Africa every single day runs the world. But then they portray Africa as a poor place with a few mud huts. So the propaganda machine, that's got to stop. That is definitely got to stop. But yeah, I just, freedom for me, but freedom for the rest of my race. That's what I would like.
Excellent.
100%.
All right. All right, comment here from Frequency Event Promotions. Freedom, what a word. That is such a journey to pursue. So we are going to end it off right there, gentlemen. Want to say to the IG crowd, most of you stayed on for most of it. So thank you so much. If you want to catch the part that you missed, go to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube, subscribe, hit the notification button. You can watch the whole replay, share it out, share it out, share it out. As always, to the IG family, remember to give yourselves grace and don't just manage your time, manage your energy. And gentlemen, any final comments we would like to make after today's conversation about ownership, freedom, and responsibilities that come with it? Any final comments? VU, final comments, and how can people get in touch with you?
My final comment I would say is remember that freedom takes on many different forms. Freedom means different things to all of us, and each of us has a perspective, right? And so we will know when we are experiencing freedom. And for those who feel like they are not free, use the situation or the scenario you find yourself in now to finance your freedom, to plan your jailbreak, as it were.
Yes.
And as far as reaching out to me, you can reach me at victoryunlimitedshow.com. But before you go over there, make sure your insurance is paid up, because that is a destination that I created for the empowerment of men and women, and it helps people become better people today than they were yesterday. So it's an archive of shows over there. So that's where you'll find me.
Love that tagline. Always love it. Ryan, final comments when it comes to ownership, freedom, and responsibilities.
Hey, really quickly, we should do an audit of ourselves. What do we actually own? And if there's not, that's almost like that net worth statement. It's like, is your assets more than your liabilities? Are we owning things? Are we moving towards ownership? And if it's not, that became my purposeful journey in life to switch when I first did that net income statement, and it was really lopsided to the liability side. I was like, I have to start shifting from buying things that are worthless to actually buying things that are assets. So, and then the more knowledge and the more you learn about building up that freedom of ownership, like you said, the responsibility comes with that to teach. And one, teach my children, two, teach the community. So everything that I'm learning about ownership and developing that freedom, I'm looking forward to teach.
And how can people get in touch with you?
Best way is website, Ryan O'Neil Knight. O'Neil is Oneil. So RyanO'NeilKnight.com. We do business coaching there. If you're looking for funding or just wanted to set up a social enterprise, that's the best way to get a hold of me.
That's in Canada, by the way.
Yes, but our training is, we do US and Canada. So US,
right.
If people are looking for funding, we can help.
Clive Henry, close it out.
Okay, well, what I gotta say is, as far as ownership's concerned, people really need to start studying that and think of their future and their children's futures, and then they will start to study the greats and see how they can change their lives for the better. And also, if people have got an urge to start a business, because a lot of it's just confidence. It's like driving a car. It's confidence, just basically start studying how you do it. Ask people, like I say to people all the time, you can contact me and ask me. I get so many people contacting me on the internet, and I always make time for them, because I know I was that kid what wants to ask questions. I'm the kid who will ask. I'm not scared to ask, and I've asked a lot of people to get to where I am, and a lot of people helped me, and you're surprised, like, oh my God, that person, some people are famous as well. It's like, oh my God, they came back. So a person's a person. Ask. All they can say is no, or I'm busy, and this is how I look at things. But if people ask me a question, I'll give them a good answer, and I give them two sides of the coin so they can make a clear decision to make a positive move. Because it's like when you were little, your parents used to say, they just tell you the answer, or they say that's it. They don't give you a reason, especially the Caribbean community. They don't just do it this way. They don't tell you
Yes.
why you're doing it this way. But you know, like I said, just go for it. Go for it. Ask, study. Go to. You don't need to go to the library anymore. Google is your best friend. Google, YouTube. People have got everything on YouTube with videos of how to do everything from making a cake to stock market to entrepreneurship to being a mechanic. Anything you can dream of, it is on the internet. Don't waste your time on the internet looking at TikToks and whatnot. If you want to do business, you can do it. And as far as like helping people, I am always available. So you can reach me on, I'm on, all over the internet. I'm on Facebook. If you search Clive Henry, I'm in Nottingham, England. You'll see me pop up, probably the first one on there. You'll see me on Instagram. If you search Racism is Real or Clive Henry, you'll see me on there. I'm on TikTok, Racism is Real. I'm on Twitter at Clive Henry 1 or hashtag Racism is Real. So any people that want help, I will help you and direct you to where you need to look to find the help, because I'm a firm believer in helping and passing it on to let other people win. I'm not about being up there looking down on people. I want everyone to win. I'm a background person. I've always been a background person, but I've been thrusted to the forefront, not because of I want to do it. It's God's design. But I am always going to help people if I can, because that's how I've been raised, and that's what I believe in, helping the whole community to win. So yeah, this is it. We've got to do it
Okay.
now or
Love that.
never.
All right. Well, I just
Yeah,
want to
no,
add to
never.
that, and I agree with what all the gentlemen said. I think one thing I've learned is if you want to move ahead fast, ask questions.
Mhm.
That's the quickest way of moving ahead, asking questions. And I agree almost all with what Clive said, but be careful who you get your information from.
Valid.
Because, right? So consider the source.
Yes.
Consider the source in a lot of things. Like if it,
Several
just
sources.
yeah. So, take a look at various things, but fully agree that asking questions is fully ahead. And I'll just want to put on the screen before we leave here a quote from a gentleman that I respect a lot, and also others should respect a lot. I'm going to put his information. Here we go. Wise man named George Fraser. You may or may not know him. He's regarded as Black America's #1 network. He says, our people will not change when they see the light. They'll change when they feel the heat. Are you feeling the heat?
Okay. Right.
Are you feeling the heat to get freedom? Are you feeling to get ownership? Are you feeling the heat to get in control? Move like there's heat under your backside.
Yes.
All right. Move
Yes.
like that's with my fellow Jamaicans on the screen here. Move like you want ownership, move like you want freedom, and move that you want more responsibility. And move like the more you know, the more you need to know. On that note, thank you very much, gentlemen. We'll have you all back next month with more posse. But thanks also to Ryan for jumping in on short notice. Be well, keep the faith, and remember to give yourselves grace.
All right.
All right, we'll get these gentlemen
Yes.
off because they got things to do, and they will talk after the show finishes briefly, and because we don't want to keep Clive up too late. So there we go. All right, so we do this once a month. Dr. Vibes Allies, the last Thursday of each month. So the next conversation, put it in your calendar, September 28th, 9 p.m. Eastern time. But in between that, and I didn't do it today, but a few things. I did mention it briefly, but subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube. When you do, subscribe and hit the notification button. It notifies more people about the epic conversations that we have here. I just steer the ship. All the family drives the ship, the audience and the people, the friends that come on. Also, follow the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. If you would like to advertise your product or service on the Dr. Vibe Show, please email me, dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. Also, if you want to get in touch with me, you can go to the website, the drvibeshow.com. Email me, dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, The Dr. Vibe Show. Twitter, at drvibeshow. I guess I can't call it Twitter anymore. It's X. and then Instagram at the DRVIVESHOW.com. And you can watch replays of this epic conversation on my website, also on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. That is it. So want to thank everyone who watched live or who watched on the replay. Thanks to the Instagram people who jumped in for a bit. And this is how we close it out. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions. They aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. And remember to give yourselves grace. And we'll see you on the digital highway. God bless. Peace to all. Keep the faith and walk good.
Yeah. Listen.